Are we using
Warm up number 1. Solution on this one should be 7/6, or you could have 1 1/6. Warm up number 2. The common denominator should be 40, and you're multiplying by 5 here, so that makes this a 35, and by 8 there, that makes this a 16. 19/40. Lottery number, pick one from 1 to 20. The winning numbers are 15 and 17. The homework check is up next. That's the after-test assignment from Friday. For today, we're going to do this: 3/2 times 1 2/3, multiplying mixed numbers. And the easy way to do this without a calculator is to break up 3/2 as 3 plus 1/2, and then multiply it by 1 plus 2 1/3. You're going to insert a plus sign in between the whole number and the fraction. Just make it a quantity. And then you go back to Algebra 1 for the FOIL method, which is this: 3 and multiply it by 1 to start with. 3 times 1 is 3. And then go back to the 3 and multiply that 3 by 2/3. When you multiply a whole number by a fraction, you multiply the whole number by the numerator. So that would be 3 times 2, which is 6, and then put it over the denominator, which is 3. You're finished with the 3 now, so move over to the half and multiply this half by 1. That would just be 1/2. And then multiply the half by 2/3. When you multiply two fractions, you're multiplying the numerators. In that case, it would be 2, and the denominators, that would be 6. Before you do anything else, make sure you simplify everything. Don't end up adding fractions that you could have eliminated to start with. So 3 we have to keep. 6/3 changes to what? 2. And then a half is already simplified. 2/6 can be reduced to what? 1/3. Now you can still simplify some more. 3 plus 2 is 5. So write down 5. And then the only thing you have to do next is to add these two fractions together, 1/2 and 1/3. The common denominator would be what? 6. So for 1/2, to convert that to a denominator of 6, I'm multiplying 2 by 3. So 1 by 3 would be 3. And 3 by 2 to get 6. 1 times 2 is 2. So your final answer would be 5 and 5/6. Another example: 4 and 1/5 times 2 and 2/3. Break it up as two quantities: 4 plus 1/5 and 2 plus 2/3. My first move is to multiply what two things together? 4 times 2, yeah. So that would be an 8. What's my next multiplication? Yeah, 4 times 2/3. He's right, you would multiply 4 times 2 to get 8, and then put it over 3. Now, I'm done with the 4. Where do I go to next? The 1/5. What do I multiply 1/5 by? 2. 2/5. And then multiply 1/5 by what? 2/3. So I multiply the numerators, 1 times 2, and the denominators, 5 times 3. Okay, so from there, we need to go back and simplify. We only have an 8. You can't add that 8 with anything yet. But you do have a 3, a 5, and a 15. If I had to find a common denominator for 3, 5, and 15, what would that be? 15. So you can go ahead and make them all fractions with a denominator of 15. And the last one you don't have to change at all. So that saves you some work. It's already a 15. I'm multiplying 3 by 5 to get 15, so 8 times 3 is 24. Or not, that's not right. That's my fault. That should be 3 times 5 is 15, and 8 times 5 is 40. My fault. And then 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 3 is 6. And once you have those all set up, you go back through and add them. You'll have 40 plus 6 is 46, plus 2 is 48. Now you have to simplify that 48 over 15. 15 goes into 48 3 times without going over. What's 3 times 15?
45.
So what's the difference between 45 and 48? 48 minus 45. 3 of them, yeah. So now you can add these together to get 8 plus 3 and 3/15 would be 11 and 3/15. But is there something I can do to this before I'm finished? Yeah, reduce. What's 3 over 15 reduced? 11 and 1 over 5, yeah. 3 goes into itself once and into 15 5 times. Try this practice problem and bring it up. 2 and 2/5 times 3 and 1/3. Solution for the practice: 2 plus 2/5 and then 3 plus 1/3. 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 times 1/3 is 2/3. 2/5 times 3 is 6 over 5, and 2/5 times 1/3 is 2 over 15. So you need a common denominator of 15 for each of those. And you don't have to change the last one. It stays 2 over 15. This would be a 10, and this would be an 18. So add those up. 10 and 18 is 28, plus 2 is 30. And that works out really neat because 30 over 15 is 2. So the final answer would be 8. Bonus problem while we give everybody else some time. 1/2 plus 7/8. The bonus answer should have a common denominator of 8. That means you don't change this one, but this one is multiplied by 4. So 4 plus 7 is 11. 11 over 8, or you could have had 1 and 3/8. Another practice problem: 2 and 3/4 times 5 and 1/3. Here's the solution for the practice. You should have 2 plus 3 over 4, and then 5 plus 1/3. So do 2 times 5 to get 10, and then 2 times 1/3 to get 2/3. 3/4 times 5 is 15 over 4, and 3/4 times 1/3 is going to be 3 over 12. Now you can simplify not the 2/3 and not the 15 over 4, but you can simplify the 3 over 12 to 1 over 4. That could be helpful, maybe not. Probably isn't in this case because you have to go back and make all these 12s anyway. So that was a wasted step. You need a common denominator of 12, and it takes us right back to 3 here for that one. And this would be 8, and by 3 there would give us 45. So add all of those up. 8, 53, 56 over 12. 12 goes into 56 4 times for 48, and you would have 8 left over. That's 14 and 8/12, but you have to reduce the 8/12. So that would be 14 and 2/3. Another practice problem. 3 and 1/6 times 2 and 3/4. The solution is, starting out, 3 plus 1 over 6, and then 2 plus 3 over 4. So when we multiply 3 times 2, we get 6. 3 times 3/4 is 9 over 4. And then 1/6 times 2 is 2 over 6. And 1/6 times 3/4 is 3 over 24. Now you can simplify here. If you did, you would end up with a 3 here and an 8 there, but I think you'd have to go back to 24s anyway, so we'll just leave it and make a common denominator of 24. That means the 3 over 24 can stay the same. This one is by 6, so that would give us a 54 on top. This one is by 4, so that's an 8 on top. And then 54 and 8 is 62. 62 plus 3 is 65. And 24 will go into 65 twice for 48 with 17 left over. So there should be 8 and 17 over 24. Bonus problem. 5 over 8 plus 2 over 7. Answer to the bonus problem should be 51 over 56. And for the practice, here's the bonus problem. 5 over 9 minus 1 over 6. For the bonus problem, your common denominator should have been 18. That means you're multiplying by 2. That's where we get a 10 from. And by 3, that's where we get this 3. 10 minus 3 is 7. 7 over 18.